Hello and welcome to Stars in the Dark, session 22. Yeah, things took a turn last session. So if you skip that one and you're watching this, go back and watch it because you'll want to have any idea about what's going on right now. And if this is the first session you're watching, go back to the beginning. What are you doing here? We have a couple of mechanical or kind of things that have been left hanging a bit that I think we should deal with. But first, we should talk about the wishes from last session. I've reduced the list a bit because some of them aren't maybe relevant to the current situation. We have a note that Mark needs to leave reasonably on time. I write that down so I'll remember it better. And then there is a question of whether the rest of the crew find out what happened to Bria, if we as players find out what happened to Bria, or if we're leaving that undetermined. There's also a question about, is Kernok really doing what her bosses want her to do, or has she gone rogue, or is she just is she handling this the way she's expected to? And we still want to see the lair explode. It's been forever. You rigged those explosions like 2 sessions ago. We should have happened by now, but there's so much going on. So those were the wishes. I've made some status changes to the factions from the selling the artifact, which was the last job you did. Those are in the factions tab. You've gone up +2 with Hera the Witch because you sold her the artifact. You didn't complain when she didn't pay you what she was supposed to. So she's very happy. On the other hand, both the Rebel Alliance and Maxa have dropped 1 step because you sold the artifact, and that's kind of not cool. Tor was barely willing to let you have it in the first place, and you stabbed Tiri to get it from Maxa when you didn't know she was holding it, and they both got put through quite a lot of crap, mostly over that artifact, and now you just sold it. They're not happy. But you just dropped 1 step, so you're still very friendly with Maxa. But -1 with the Rebel Alliance. But maybe you don't care so much about that, depending on how if you go through with betraying Tor. I'm not sure where you are in those thoughts. We also had an entanglement from a previous job. That one was set as rivals. I'm not sure if we should go into playing it out or if we'll just handle it mechanically. What it is, let me read the thing. So, rivals is a neutral faction threaten you, a friend, contact, or one of your vice purveyors. And you can either pay them up with 1 rep and 1 cred per their tier, or you can stand up to them and lose 1 status with them. And this is, I'll mention it, and then we can decide if we want to deal with it in fiction or just mechanically. This is Scarbo the Hutt. He's seen Betty the Beast fight, and he thinks she could be useful for as muscle outside the ring. She doesn't need to waste her talents just being a shock boxer, and he's kind of leaning on her to become a thug, basically, beat people up for money in a non-sanctioned fashion. And I think she's mainly reached out to, she'll mainly reach out to Etema about this. So Etema, and if she doesn't get any backup, she's just going to fold but yeah, how do you want to play that?
What is her opinion of this offer? It sounds
She doesn't want
like,
to do it.
yeah, she doesn't want to do it. Okay.
I mean, it's not only because she's seen what it's done to you, like the things you've been put through, but it's not her. I mean, she enjoys the way I think, and let me know if this doesn't mesh with how you see her. She's perfectly fine beating people up in the ring, but they're there voluntarily. They've chosen to be there. This would
Right.
be like breaking legs and that sort of thing on people who owe money. She doesn't want to do that.
That totally jives with my vision of her. And Skirbo, is he connected to the hut? Is
He's independent. He's like separated himself from the Hut cartel. They're not unfriendly, but he's like, yeah, you do your thing, I'm doing my own thing.
So I wouldn't have to give permission to take him out. It's just
no. They may not like it because if you're going after one hut, you're kind of going after all of them, even if it's not like. They would. It wouldn't like automatically put a bounty on your head.
okay.
Skirbo also owns the club that I have a permanent inn at for my vice.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. So you wouldn't
But-
want him dead. Okay.
But
I don't care about Skirbo. I just care about the club.
Yeah, but we
Yeah,
are looking for a place,
mechanically
right?
here-
We are looking for a place.
It sounds like we
mechanically
have our
here-
answer.
I mean, if Etema goes to Skirbo and says, "You stay the hell away from Betty. Let her fight, but don't do anything else," that counts as standing up to him, and you'll just lose one status with it. You'll be at -1, I think. So it's not.
Yep.
You don't
Super
have
doing
to
that.
kill him.
That is absolutely what she's doing. If
Cool.
Betty doesn't, like, this is one person she could actually make a difference for and not make things too much worse yet. So she will definitely step up to Skirbo and take the status hit. And
Yeah.
tell
Then
him
I
to
figure
leave.
this is something that happens in the background.
Okay.
Has happened or will at some point when there's a bit of time for it. Cool. Then we never really settled the thing with the Blue Brigade that you had like pushed into their territory. I figure that's not relevant anymore since you don't have your lair there, so you don't have the territory. They'll take it back once the depending on what happens with the garrison and the and street sec when they're done with their raid and blowing things up and being jerks.
Jerks.
Yeah. We did not get into any downtime activities last session because we were kind of doing the whole free play thing. So everyone still has 2 downtime activities. But there's also other things to deal with. Like I said, you don't currently have a lair, which is something you need to deal with in some way at some point. It's not like you don't die because you don't have a lair. It's not, but it's something you have to handle in some way. I think we also need to talk about Kernok and how to handle her going forward, because she was leaning pretty hard into give me the artifact or I kill everyone you care about, or at least hurt them. I think we need to talk about how we want to deal with that, because at least, especially now, I think she's definitely not willing to deal with you face to face again, not after you tried to stab her when she wasn't satisfied with the information you could give her. But I'm not sure if that is how we want to play that out as players, and I'm not sure it would be. I mean, she doesn't like you, and she is she is vindictive, but she also needs to get the artifact, and maybe killing everyone isn't the best way to do that. But I think I'd like to go around the horn and see what your thoughts are going forward. And I'll go in the order you are on my screen, and that puts Rich first.
My opinion is that she would make good on the promise, but I don't think she has the luxury to go out of her way. And going after us when Hair the Witch has the item and we've given her that lead seems illogical, and she seems pretty methodical. So I think it's one of those, we will get our just desserts when she can devote that time to taking us down.
Ooh,
That's where, does that make sense? It's kind of a
yeah, absolutely,
like a Cold
absolutely.
War for now, but she will never forget it. And when she can take her pot shot, she will.
Mm-hmm. When she has the time for it, she'll.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Mark.
Yeah, I think more or less on that same page. Like if Kurnock was a PC, it's like she has this job to do for her employer, and although like you really want to get rid of the people that fucked with you, you got to do the job first. So she's probably going to concentrate on, if I were her, I would concentrate on making sure Black Sun wasn't mad at me, and then later when things cool down a little bit, I had some free time for a hobby, that hobby would be getting back at the people who screwed you over.
Cool, thank you. Kai.
All of what everybody has said, absolutely. But also maybe just make her own faction.
Oh, that's
Ooh.
And, consider her to be semi-independent, right?
That's an interesting idea. I'll have to think about that.
Yeah, I won't be upset if you don't choose it, but I feel like she and Black Sun work together, but they don't have similar views on us. And in terms of us, we would want to potentially raise our rating with her, and it'd be a lot easier to track that if she were a faction. So, if such a thing happened.
It's definitely an interesting idea. It's I'll think about that.
Okay.
Dylan.
So, yeah, I mean, that all makes sense. I don't know mechanically how it would work if there's a faction of one. I think that's really interesting. But if there's not enough, if that doesn't work out mechanically, she could be an entryway into a faction like the Assassin's Guild or something like that, or just another higher tier faction to bring in to set as opposition. I was thinking of it from Bade's point, and Bade is like, what's the big deal? I don't care. I mean, Bade completely underestimates Kurnock, right? And is like, oh yeah, she's just one person. What's she gonna do?
Yeah, and she does have those thugs, whether they're Black Sun thugs or her personal thugs, we're not sure. So maybe she does have her own little gang.
And she did kind of mess us up. And, I saw Etima kind of run away, so that's super scary, but nah, it's fine. We can take them.
Cool. Yeah, I think I was also thinking that maybe she's like going after you right now isn't as useful when you're not holding the artifact. But this has clarified my thoughts a lot. So thank you all for the input.
It's more of a pride and a rep thing than a getting stuff done.
Yeah. Before they aligned, like you screwed her, and her bosses want the artifact, but now it's kind of diverged. Like hitting back at you isn't helping her as much with getting the artifact. So yeah.
Unless she wants to hire us to get it from Hara.
impossible. It
I can
could
see the
happen.
negotiation for that. It's like, okay, if you bring back the artifact, I'll only kill one of you. And we're like, well, let's work on like no death. Ooh, I don't know.
I mean, someone's gotta die for. Yeah, we also have the question of Bria's incarceration. I think at this point we've accepted that Bria is going away. The positive thing there is that your wanted level drops to 3. So the next person who goes away isn't going away for life necessarily, depending on whether you keep this down. On the other hand, that costs you one of your virtual turf, since you count your wanted level as turf because you're scary people. But there's also the incarceration roll, which is the thing you do when someone goes to prison. This is at the very bottom, very left, or very right, near the bottom on the right, is the incarceration thing. Typically, you make a roll using your crew's tier. So this would be a 2 dice roll to see how this person does in prison. I don't know if we want to do this or if we want to leave things open about what happens to Bria. I think this is mostly up to Kai, actually.
Where is the possibilities of the roll?
It's on the rules tab. It's W like 115 or 100 or 100.
98.
Well,
W98.
yeah.
All right. Oh, there we are. Okay.
By the way, let me give you guys a quick tip about Google Sheets that I didn't know until recently. Well, let me double check it because oh yep, there it is. Okay, because I knew it's true for Word documents. If you want to know exactly where someone has highlighted a cell, you can click on their icon at the top.
Yeah.
Directly to where they are. So I am currently on incarceration. If you click on my icon at the top right, you'll go straight to incarceration.
Ooh, that's super useful.
I'm glad that that's a thing that you find useful.
Yeah.
Cool.
We learned that during our New Year's spreadsheet party. Click on people and join them.
New Year's spreadsheet party.
Yeah, just make a Google Doc and have everyone join a spreadsheet. It's great.
It's cool. And you can now do Google Meets in the middle inside a spreadsheet.
What?
Cool.
Yeah.
But they don't have the flight simulator anymore. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I would like to roll.
Cool.
So we roll our tier. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's 2 dice. This is just
Okay.
straight up 2 dice.
All right. Let's see what happens with Bria. Can she push for it? Not just double bargain. All right. What may be her last 2d6?
Kind of impressive. So I'm going to screen share.
Okay.
Good luck.
Okay.
Ooh, a 6. A 6. A 6.
Hey,
Not
good.
critical, but
Pretty good.
we get
but
a
we get a
prison
prison
claim
claim.
and faction status with a faction.
Yeah,
Bria makes
Nice.
good with somebody.
it does. And the prison claims, I don't think these are in the character keeper. No, they're not, because that was one of those things that's going to happen far, far down the line. That's not really important. But let me look them up.
Do we think that since Bria wasn't executed, that our fascist government might be softening, maybe becoming less horrific?
I think this could be a combination of that they still want information from her. Maybe they want to use her as a bargaining chip because they didn't get all of you.
Okay.
It could also be that they don't want to make her a martyr. And I think when the crew is when the rest of the crew, when you're fleeing from this scene with Karnok, you'll see the big screens with the wanted posters. Brias will say terrorist leader captured, something like that. I think that's how you find out about it. But the prison claims, maybe I should screen share if I can do that. Maybe Rich has to.
So I recolored Bria's tab from orange to black on the character.
I saw that. Makes me sad.
Doesn't it? Oh boy.
Yeah. Can you see the thing
Yeah.
now?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So this is for these are the prison claims.
What's going on? I don't understand.
But I think these mostly help you while you're incarcerated. Like
Or
plus
someone
2
else gets
load.
incarcerated.
while
-2
incarcerated.
cost to advance a tier definitely is a thing.
Yeah, but that one isn't like directly connected to the prison thing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right. I
So
just
don't
saw
think
a
you
thing
can
that
take
was
it
pretty
right
cool.
away.
The place one plus 1D to incarceration rolls might not be a bad
Yeah.
deal for.
Yeah, this might not be the last time someone ends up in prison.
Dun dun dun.
There's
Oh
also
my
you don't
goodness.
take trauma from incarceration.
Yeah, and that's if you roll really
Mm.
badly. If you
Yeah.
roll the 1 to 3, you take a level of trauma.
I see.
But the ones you have direct access to are the 2 smuggling ones and the 2 guard payoff.
Oh, I see.
And I don't want to, I wouldn't interpret those literally. I mean, guard payoff doesn't necessarily have to be in bribing the guards. It could be some other, but you have an in with the guards in some way. That means you get some slightly better treatment or less bad treatment. And plus 2
Weird.
load while incarcerated. That's that can be useful while if a character. I think that's more useful if a character is in prison temporarily and they can kind of carry out part of a job from inside, from while they're inside. Standard load for a prisoner is 0, so plus 2 load is quite a lot. Means you can actually have things. But yeah.
Interesting.
You don't have to decide this right now, but I wanted to show you what the options are, and we can decide, settle on it later.
Neat.
Yeah, neat.
The one interesting thing there is in the top right-hand corner, there's not a little bar connecting allied claim and cell block control.
Yeah,
You have to go all the way around there.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Guard payoff, allied claim, then interesting.
Interesting.
And we get +1 with someone. Is that right?
yeah, you get +1 with a faction, and I think
Nice.
Kai, you can choose. Some
I totally
faction
think
that you-
Kai should make all these choices. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So we could get rid of one of our wars, maybe.
And unless like, hey, I don't want to mess with it, cognitive overload kind of thing.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
But I'll stop sharing if I find out how.
Should be a red button. near the top middle.
Um,
Although I think you're on a browser, so I don't know.
yeah, there it is. No, I'm not, but it wasn't where I expected. Cool, and you don't have to decide that right now either, but if there is a faction you figure that, yeah, these are some people I could make good with while I'm inside.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, I'll think about it.
Yeah,
But
cool.
the concept is that there are other people in the cube with me, and something that we work out makes their gang like us better. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this could be just, yeah, you happen to get along really well with someone from another faction, and
Nice.
they
Nice.
facilitate something, or they have
Or
some
maybe
cool.
since I'm there for life, like there's some gang that like when those people come in for their short stint, like I make their lives better or something.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We get to see a little bit of her every so often. We'll get to see Orange is the new Mandalorian or something like that.
Scar is the new black.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Weird. I don't understand the whole turf and prison thing, but cool. Cool.
Yeah, I think that's like your crew has staked some sort of claim, and in this case, it's just Bria since you're the only one there. But I mean, your Bria is plenty tough, so and reasonably able to get along with people. So and since you're kind of aligned with the rebels, there will be some rebel sympathizers there, so you can. I mean,
Yeah. Wow. All right.
Cool. Yeah, we have about 15 minutes until the hour. I think we should talk about how to bring Kai's new character in. When we left off last session, everyone except Bria were just running for almost said the hills, but the gardens, the temporary hideout in the back of a warehouse. Smelly, but reasonably safe. We also have a thing actually that we've kind of left off, and that is that your gang should be bigger than it is right now. I think it's like 3 people or something, 4 maybe. And I think, yeah, you get 3 people, and I think the gang at your level, maybe it is just 4. No, it should be like 8 people or something. So if you don't find some reasonable characters you specifically want to fill in there, I'll probably just make up some reasonable group who could join you, and we'll just work it out that way.
Isn't there on the NPCs tabs a list of potential new recruits?
Yeah, I made
yeah.
those up when it when it first became relevant to add more people to the crew. Though I think those are all probably still available.
Except for Celine.
Well, not Celine. Just delete her from their group. I think the others are still relevant. The only one who's been in play is High Curleg, and that was a long time ago. And if you don't want any of these, it could just be some. Yeah, we have like 5 Gamorreans or something that we recruit from somewhere. But yeah, I want to give you the option of having some named people in there, but after a while the gangs get so big that it's not reasonable to keep track of every individual, which maybe says something about something, I don't know. But yeah.
I think
Anyway.
they would like this Lulu, where I'm on NPCs tab.
Street Kid.
Yeah, I think that they might connect with that. So
Yeah,
Anyway,
maybe a
cool.
buddy of Dave's who got kicked out
Yeah.
or aged out.
Yeah, could be. That seems reasonable. Yeah, someone Bade knows from before. Yeah, we don't need to get into that now. I don't think you're in a position where recruitment is at the top of the agenda. So Boko, Bade, and Etema, you've made it back to the gardens. Esnada has arranged for you to hide out in the back of a warehouse, and this is like they're not using the whole place, but it is in active use. So how you can kind of stay. But she's made a deal with the guards there, or the foreman. She knows him from when she used to work for Semerage. And he's going to look the other way. So you have a place where you can stay for a while at least. So yeah, Kai, how do you want to bring in Val?
So my initial thought was that Val, who is Valsey's biological father, is that he's a somewhat admired member of the rebellion, and he's been brought in to kind of help out the crew restructure itself. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but it's been a week, y'all. So if we could workshop it, I'd like to get everybody's help and opinions to make him fit in really well. I am not against like already knowing any of you, or even if it's not a good relationship kind of thing. I found a picture of a guy I like, and I call him Revolver. He has a blaster that acts like a revolver, and that's just what he's known for. He's also, so I wrote down the guy that Obi-Wan and Luke should have hired on Tatooine: smuggler, freedom fighter, one of the saviors of the Alderani, rarely pays his tabs. He has an Alderani cloak and a weird blaster. And his special ability is, on a failed engagement roll where we rolled a 1, 2, or 3, I can spend a stress for a flashback where I told everybody that was the stupidest idea I'd ever heard, and we get to redo the engagement situation, and it's automatically a 4/5. So I guess my character is like a mother hen kind of character. We found a playbook online called The Mother. We're trying to make it work. I've got my big things is I have 2 in command. That's my big thing. So I will be maybe telling people what to do if I come in. But I'm also really in like thinking very similar to the I think it's called the Stranded, like the ex-captain of a ship. So I imagine he's like a ship captain as well. And so at the bottom of my sheet are 3 moves from that playbook that I'm really interested in having my character do. When you gather information in a bar, cantina, or similar establishment, you get +1 result level. Like that's the way I see this guy. Like that's what I see him doing. I can do well if there's moves where I could do well at blending in or disguise myself and stuff like that, or create misdirections. So that's kind of where I want the guy to go, but I only get 1 move at the beginning for a level 1 character. I created a couple of NPCs based off of my friends and rivals list. There is a droid that I have a good relationship with, and a rival Lustin. She's a prostitute. I called her a companion that I'm a rival with. And when there's secrets to be found, sometimes she and I compete to find out who can figure it out first. And she figures she has the upper hand. And I enjoy the competition. So if you go to the NPCs tab and then you click on my icon, you'll see Tetcher and Lustin. And Tetcher is a droid working in a warehouse, scraps things, can usually find stuff for you. But his voice mod's been changed to a torch singer. And then Lustin, a woman of commanding desires, she and Val sometimes vie to see who can get the gossip first. And I had to look up exactly how to spell vie. That was very interesting. That's what I've got so far. So I would love to workshop this guy and really get to jump in and play.
Cool.
Torch singer. It's like in those noir films where you've got like the speakeasy and you've got the woman, they're playing a piano and the woman's got the microphone and she's just
like Scene in Dark City.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That so the torch is supposed to be like she's supposed to make you like all the men in the audience just like swell with lust for her song or whatever. So that's the torch part of it, if I understand it correctly. But basically, the guy has like a sultry female voice. Is what I'm trying to say.
Cool.
Yeah.
I just had not heard that term. Neat.
Yeah.
I had to look it up, and apparently it's from, or at least connected to, like carrying a torch for someone. It's these romantic songs about I'll always love blah 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 blah. I'll never give up, that sort of thing.
Right. She's constantly
Very noir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's constantly having to push fans away, kind of thing, as a torch singer. So
Neat.
ideas. Any ideas?
So let me ask an out of character question before we begin the workshop. We have Bria, who Valdi has been taken away from, and now the father shows up. What do you, Kai, want vis-a-vis interaction with Valdi? Is he off with the aunt, living a happy life? Is Val going to care about that? Like, I mean, he didn't care a whole lot before because Bria had him and he didn't. So I'm just curious where your thoughts around that are.
So I imagined that the relationship was not that Val wanted to not have anything to do with Valsi, is that Bria didn't want to have anything to do with Val anymore. And so I was thinking that Val would be interested in pursuing the mystery of where he has landed up or where he's at, so that he can do his best to protect Valsi as well. So I realize that that's not like the kind of characters that Blaze in the Dark normally has, right? Like normally we're a lot more not evil, but dark, just not a little more selfish, I guess I would say. But
that creates a really easy in for Edema, because Edema is racked with guilt over Bria being arrested and has already again started considering, well, maybe I should just let myself get arrested and then we'll be in prison together and all. But if there's no, we can go make sure that Valdi is safe, Edema could be good with that.
Yeah.
So
what is Val's reaction to Bria being incarcerated, if he knows or when he knows?
Yeah. So my idea also is that this is not the first time Val has come in to take care of Bria's fuck ups. So he would be, he would care about any human being, but he cares that she's in prison, but she can do far less harm in prison than she can do elsewhere. So any ideas of doing a jailbreak, he's not going to be in support. But maybe this is probably he's on screen because this is the most important chapter of his life. So I would say maybe he wants to fix the family, and that's going to take quite a bit of work. And it's a goal that I don't have to finish, but it gives him a long story arc, right? Like, can I get my son back? Can I get my partner back? Can we make something of the mistakes that have been made? Like, that would be a great story, I think.
So if I can summarize, this introduction a little bit, it sounds like Bria went to jail and Val then said, okay, now it's my turn to take care of the kid. So I'm going to come into play and see if I can't find out where Volsey is. And was this an explicit agreement between Bria and Val that if anything ever happened to Bria, that Val would step in?
Oh, interesting.
Bria had her one call.
No, it was the thing you found in Bria's room that we never defined. It was the plan.
Oh,
It's like, contact this guy if like
yeah.
shit goes down.
And that's the end for Val
right.
to come in. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Because we created something and we didn't know what it was. It was Schrodinger's plot device. So yeah, it's like, if all else fails, call this guy.
Yeah,
So-
that's perfect, because that
I love
means that we don't have to figure out how he finds out about this, because the crew contacts him and they have an immediate connection. There's no, we don't need to figure out like how do they know each other. They know that he's in with Bria and he cares about Valsey, which at the very least ties into Etema. So I think that's good. I mean, there could be some connection with, like, I assume Etema's back when she was a spy, she had a handler or something. I mean, there could have been some sort of connection.
She
but we
kind of
don't
got the
really-
handler killed, but yes, she did have one.
Yeah, so maybe we don't get into that, at least not right away.
Only when she's really drunk. I like
Yeah,
this
so
a
that-
lot.
that-
I think that's awesome.
So that kind of pushes it away from Val being sent by the New Republic. I guess they are kind of at this point. On the
Right.
other hand, it could be that he gets this call. He should be going on some other job. He talks with his commanding officer or whoever is telling him what to do, assuming anyone is, or his contact. And they say, yeah, we've heard about a situation there. Could you go handle it? Maybe these people could be assets. He could sell them as potential assets. We don't have to decide that right now, but yeah, I guess those options are still all there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all into it.
Cool. So I think we could move into some like let this downtime play out like over a longer period of time.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to establish a new layer, that's one thing that would take time. Building up this like more working relationship between Val and the rest. We could do that on screen. It could be interesting, but we could also like have that happen during the downtime activities. We see a little bit, and then we can get into the practicalities of it, or the more direct effects once we get into a job. We also have the question of actually choosing a job to do, because right now you're kind of cut off from the things that were relevant before. I think actually that Bria being captured, I think that's enough for the garrison to not feel like they need to be at war with you anymore, because Bria's been kind of the leader figure, and I think that's how it's been seen outside as well. And since they've taken her down, and if we're playing this out over a longer period of time, we will get to the big explosion. They've blown up your headquarters, they've taken your leader, and they're willing to take that victory. They take the win, and they're happy with it. And I think the same goes for StreetSec. They were probably more interested in Boko and Etema than the garrison was. But I think they're also, if you're like quiet for a few weeks, then I think, yeah, we got them. It's done. We can say we won, and everyone's happy. Does that sound fair or
Yeah.
reasonable?
I will take it.
No more war.
Yeah. Then I will move them to just a -2. So it's just that if you piss them off, they'll go to war with you again. But they're not at war with you right now. So
One quick rules question. The gang has the +1 to one of 3 abilities. I went ahead and assumed that I could take that, or is that only it happened at the moment we took it?
oh no, you can absolutely take that. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Did
'Cause I'm
you
counting
do
my
that, Steven?
ticks, and I got 8, and you're supposed to start with 7. And I was like, oh yeah, I added in that crew.
Steven, did you take that for Bade as well?
I did. I think we took that while I was in play.
Oh, okay, cool.
Another rules question, I guess, while we're on the crew sheet, the hidden quarters, secure stuff for the lair, does that come with the crew, or is that attached to our hideout that is being destroyed?
The way we did this last time, I think at that point you had quarters and hidden probably, and the training stuff. I mean, the training stuff that's obvious. That's
Yeah.
not connected to the specific layer. That time we let it carry over, and figured, yeah, you want this thing, you'll find a place that has them. I kind of feel like we should, maybe you lose a tick or 2 from those depending, but I think we'll adjust the layer options depending on what kind of place you settle into. I would like, I don't want to say like, no, you lose all of it, you have to start over. That seems a bit harsh, but maybe you don't get all the check marks.
Cool.
That seems fair.
I think we also had a crew advancement that we kind of had
Yeah.
put in the back pocket. So
Yeah.
We're not
Yeah.
going to take it so we don't lose it.
that's right. Yeah. Well, we're going to figure it out once we find out where our lair is and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you still have your cohorts. You have your fearsome, unreliable gang, and you have your loyal, savage cohort, Janusz.
Noosh.
Yeah,
What a guy.
we're a bit past the hour. I think we should take a break, and we'll cut back to. Yeah. So I think you're all back at. You're in the warehouse. I think someone who would have rigged like some sort of view screen or something where you can follow the news, what's going on.
Maybe one of the crew did. Maybe.
Yeah, Adam has only got 1 in Tinker, and I don't think it's a thing she focuses on.
Yeah.
So I think that I like the idea that Janusz, had been planning to blow up, our lair since he first saw eyes on it. And probably, was like, okay, and this is where I want the pictures, right? I want, So I can totally help him set up and get the feed going. But I think Janusz probably definitely has an idea of like, oh yeah, I want to see down this hallway because that's where everything will be great. Yeah.
Are we detonating the place in an attempt to kill people? Like, are we trying to lure them in? I'm just making sure. Just making sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
All right.
for sure.
All right.
And cover
Yeah,
our
I think-
tracks, correct?
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
Primarily cover tracks, but if we kill some
Edmund
stormtroopers
pauses.
in the
Sure, that too.
way.
I think the way we talked about it was that there are some booby traps rigged, but you can also set it off remotely. So yeah, I think Janusz is over there. He has like snuck inside the cordon, and he's got some transmitter because he wants to see it live, but he also wants you to see it. So he's hidden like on a second floor, like a bit too close for everyone else to feel like it's safe. And he's got some sort of feed going from there. And you see him like arguing with Tikitavi, who wants them to move back a bit, like shouldn't we be in the next building? No, it's great here, it's great here. And you see I think you've been watching for a while as the stormtroopers, they've leveled some more buildings, their tanks are rolling around, making a mess of things. They're still, I mean, they're not as diligent, I guess, as they were before, because now they have at least captured someone, but they still want to like go through and they want to find your hideout because maybe there's something interesting there. And you spot the moment, you can see the moment when they see like, oh, this is the place, when they realize that this old spaceship, like they get some readings, and yeah, there's power alive in there, or things like that. And they start to look for a way in, and they don't go through the tunnels like you did. They bring up some cutting torches, and they start like carving a big hole in the hull, just to go straight in. And they're like going in, a bunch of stormtroopers, like it's like 5 or 6 of them are going in and securing the place, and you can see one of them coming back out and looking like, yeah, we got them. And they send in a couple of those engineers you saw earlier, like the dark gray clad ones, and what looks like a couple of people who are probably like some slicers or something, or not civilians, but not like frontline troops either. And then they, it seems like Janusz notices something. You think he has some sort of sliced into their feeds or something, but he can't patch it over because one of the stormtroopers comes running out, and that's when he presses the button, and the whole thing, it like explodes. It's like that multiple explosion sort of thing. Yeah. It explodes, and then it blows up again, and then it blows up again. And like everyone who was even close to there, they're flattened, and Janusz himself also falls over, chittering happily as the whole place blows up. Let me make a fortune roll here. I want to see if what happens. I think 3 dice. Yeah, 4 or 5. Yeah, like one of the tank drivers gets hit with some what do you call it? Some flying metal from the explosion. The tank itself seems to have made it out okay, But yeah, there's like maybe 7, 8, 10 people who were killed straight out in the explosion. Probably a few stormtroopers who got badly injured as well. So it's not a bad day for Janusz.
My oh my, what this character has become.
Yeah, when he comes back, he's a bit singed. Like he's got some burnt patches on his robes more than usual. But he's extremely happy, very content with his part in all this. Cool. So think we need yeah, you need to figure out what kind of place you're looking for your new lair. I'll also remove the turf you picked up since that's not relevant. That's the one that went back to the Blue Brigade. What kind of place you're looking for? Basically, what's the future of the gang? And I guess Val will have some maybe serious opinions on this. What you should be doing, who you should be making friends with, what kind of future you should be looking.
Yeah, I think we might even have to have a discussion of like, what are our crew goals at the base level?
Mhm.
Are we still Bravos? You know, are we gonna do something else? You know, are we gonna switch yet again? You know,
Yeah.
as a player, I'm up to anything. I'm still trying to figure out what Val would want when he shows up. But we can try role playing that, I guess. I'm still trying again. Like he's just brand new, so I'm just trying to figure some of his qualities in.
Just to re-establish, I guess, the broad geopolitical situation. This is a couple of years after the Battle of Yavin. The Emperor is dead. The Empire has technically fallen, but like the Coruscant is a huge place. There's probably more people living on Coruscant than the rest of the galaxy combined. So it takes a lot of time for things to change here. Maybe the New Republic has taken over on the surface. That's a bit unclear, but you're 5,000 levels down. That's doesn't bother you, or 4,000 levels down, maybe only. I don't know, but I mean that's oceans and oceans away. It's on the other. It's like it's about as relevant as something that happens on the other side of the galaxy. It's far away. Here the Empire still hangs on, and probably most of the Imperials here think that it's going to take a couple of decades or more. I can live out my my career here and then I can leave. Or if things start to change, I'll have time to go somewhere else. So they're like clamping down and trying to maintain their power. While the rebels here, of course, are trying to accelerate things, and yeah, so that's the big picture.
So we called up Val and made the Bria's one call, I guess. Does Val like show up at the place in the gardens while we're kind of laying low for a bit, or how does he contact us, I guess?
He loves cantinas, so he'd probably have a table ready for you at a cantina somewhere. Drinks on him because he doesn't pay his tabs.
Boko's got to do some gambling at some point, so maybe
Oh, yes, his vices
Yeah.
I chose were, let's see.
Oh
I'm still
yeah.
trying to figure that out, but I've got pleasure and gambling. So he'd be up for
Nice.
gambling with you too.
Cool.
And I gain XP by either addressing a challenge with indignation or by putting others' needs ahead of my own. So that's what he'll get XP for. I don't know if that's going to work, but I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
straight from the mother playbook. We me and Kai talked about this a bit before, and not about the XP trigger specifically. I left those alone for now. I'm a bit. I'm not sure about them. I thought the same thing about the one for the pledge, like theft or innocence. Yeah, that's kind of it. They're kind of narrow and. So I'm not sure, and I feel a little bit similar about these, but we'll see. I'm willing to adjust them if, and same thing for you, Stephen. If you feel like yours aren't working, I'm more than happy to have a look at them and bring them more in line with the other ones.
Do we want to meet up at Skirbo's? Since I've got a standing invitation there.
Oh, is that your place? Where you
Yeah,
have,
that's my standing invitation place.
Yeah, so maybe this is when Etema just comes back down after having a talk with a very
Yeah.
serious talk
Yeah.
with Scarbo.
Love it.
Nice.
Love it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been meaning to ask because Etema has this special ability, a little something on the side. What's your side hustle? Is that shockboxing or is it something else?
That's a great question. I think it's shockboxing. That feels right for where she's at. Yeah. That's what's going on with her side hustle right now.
Cool.
Well, it's got the purple hair. I thought it was like maybe like a toupee. I don't know. It was a bad joke.
I love it.
All right.
Nope, that's a great joke.
It's fine.
So I think I'm just gonna burn one of my downtime actions there, just like saying I was gambling while waiting for Val to show up.
Yeah.
Just see how that goes.
But you didn't know you were gambling with him the entire time.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I actually love that so much.
Oh yeah, that's good.
So I'm just gonna roll four dice for gambling.
Yep.
Why do you do this? Why don't you just go gamble?
Yeah, but this is for relaxing while gambling, not making
Yeah.
money while gambling. That's a different thing.
Fair.
There's the 6. Okay.
Double
Ooh,
6.
Double 6. What does that mean?
Ooh, are there
What is a
crits
critical?
on? But I looked that up. You keep going, and I look it up.
Cool. 6 off there. Yeah. So yeah, I would love to gamble with Val. That'd be great.
What kind of a gambler are you? Do you have a tell? Are you just super friendly? Like, what? How do you gamble?
I think he almost makes it like he makes it a little personal. I think like even if he's at a a sabacc table or just doing whatever, like the roulette equivalent, I think he almost feels like there's a rivalry between him and the other gamblers at the table, even just for that sit down, and probably is a little bit of a sore winner when he when he cleans up, and probably has some bad attitude if he loses. So yeah, I think he's like invested in the game he's playing, whatever that means.
Got it.
Yeah, and I think he just it's a you know not necessarily compulsion, but I think he gets the I think since he tries to play it safe a lot with the scouting and sneaking and all that stuff in the job, which doesn't always happen. I think he like that's where he gets his risk taking. So maybe he's not a great gambler. Maybe he risks a lot and loses a lot, but that's how he gets his risk in there.
So Bade's
Okay.
vice is also gambling.
Yeah.
Maybe having 3 gambling might mean we might need to open like a gambling shop. But Bade's gambling is along the lines of it's just kind of free money. She's like, what do you mean lose? So I think while you're there gambling, Mark, part of the I'm going to narrate part of your crit, which was basically as you were you were super serious and making it a little bit personal about like what kind of game you were playing. I was making sure that the money continued to flow there at the table. We were like, it was like a team. So I would hit up a little bit and say, this is what's going on, and kind of count and then give you the sign, this is the right place to go.
Yep. I like it.
Yeah, exactly the sort of thing that they don't like at gambling establishments. But yeah, so you want to make a bias roll as well, babe?
Yes. I will certainly do that.
And I mean, Etama, if you want to join in to the gambling, you can do that. You can join someone else in their vice, but maybe you want to do your own thing.
Yeah, I mean, I can. Maybe Edema is there as arm candy for Boko, but not actively. Like she's just kind of working around, but not gambling. Yeah, I like that. She doesn't feel like she's won many gambles lately.
Is Val at the table that we're at?
Yeah.
If so, how does that go down?
This may be a reference that none of you get, but there's this episode of How I Met Your Mother where Neil Patrick Harris's character is convinced that Bob Barker is his father. And so he gets up, he studies Price is Right up and down. And he gets up and they're doing like a clock game or whatever. And like the time is like running, and all he's doing is just showing like his baby pictures to Bob to show him like how he grew up and stuff like that. And he's like, "You're running out of time." He goes, "I have 1,500, blah, blah, blah." And like he takes care of the entire thing. He goes back to like, so I just imagine like Val is one of those guys. He's like, he's talking and talking and talking. When it's his turn, like he's on it, right? He does the thing, but like he's not studying it. He's not studying other people. He's just trying to strike up conversations with people, and he's trying to like learn like where he is right now. Like he's just trying to learn stuff about people, but he's on top of it. He's not great at it, but he's on top of it. That's what I imagine.
Part of my standing invitation is that I have 2 consequences that I need to resist. One of which is won't leave for hours, and one is makes a huge scene.
What is going on?
Yeah.
So much for a calm meeting.
Do we get caught that we're a team?
I don't know. I think it's so the note on makes a huge scene is just that. It's not that we get kicked out or in trouble or anything, but we just draw attention to ourselves.
Yeah, like because this is as it says, you're treated as valued customers as long as you behave appropriately. But behave appropriately, that's kind of a wide margin. So I mean, maybe you're ordering drinks for everyone, or starting up the Star Wars equivalent of a conga line or something. I mean, there's always kinds of ways you can.
And any money that we win goes back to the house eventually anyway. So
Yeah. Yeah, so
yeah.
Bade cleared 4 stress, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So Rich, do you want to make a stress roll for Etna or
Yes. Well, stress roll? Oh, that's right.
or,
'Cause
I
it's a
mean,
group. Oh, that's right.
vice
Yeah,
vice
because
roll.
I'm a vice roll because I'm participating in the scene where they're doing their vice. Is that right? They pulled me along with it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're participating, I mean, or we can just you can do your own thing. That's fine too. I just figured if you wanted to be part of the gambling thing.
I think she's not. Well, shit. Okay, am I burning a downtime action if I participate in this, or is it effectively a free stress roll? Sorry for the
No,
mechanics
you're
talk.
spending a downtime. But if you don't spend a downtime action recovering stress, you will gain 2 stress because you have 2 trauma. So you'll want to do that anyway, probably.
Okay, then I'll just do it. I think I roll with the highest, right? I don't. It's not a choice thing. I'll just go.
Lowest attribute, but you get the highest die roll. So you're rolling 3 dice, unless you have a special ability that affects this in some way, but I don't think so.
And that is overindulging, right? You take the
Well,
highest.
I'm glad I talked you into this.
Yep. That's the reason why I was hesitating, but that's fine. Seems appropriate
sorry
that she would
about that.
overindulge.
But otherwise, you
It's
would have
okay.
been at like 8 stress or something.
Yeah,
So,
I get pretty useless, but I'll be useless for a different reason. Let's keep going. Yay.
yeah. So you get to choose attract trouble, which means you get some sort of entanglement, roll or pick something. You brag about your exploits, which is +2 heat. Your tap, which means your vice purveyor cuts you off. That's probably enough. Maybe it doesn't make sense right here. Unless it's Scarbo, like saying you can't fight anymore because you kicked him off before. That could work. Or you can be lost, which means you vanish for a few weeks and then when you return. Healed from all harm, which is a bonus, but you'll play a different character for a job or two.
Lost sounds really interesting right now, but Kai's bringing a brand new character in, and that feels weird for half the group to be brand new. Thoughts?
Tapped is interesting. Getting cut off from the fighting.
I would encourage you to do what sounds interesting to you and not worry about the group. So if you like Lost, we can figure the rest out.
Absolutely.
You could be somebody that came with me. Like you could be my co-pilot or whatever. Or
Yeah, and
true.
If you want an explanation for it, it could be that Scarbo, like, yeah, I lay off Betty, but I want you in some matches.
Ooh.
And so you're doing like a tour, a shock boxing tour, and you're busy with that.
Okay, I want that. Yeah, I want that. So
Awesome.
Edema kind of disappears, and I think on the side she's gonna try to find Valsi. So it makes sense for her to just drop out. Yeah, we'll do that.
You can still do your final downtime action if you want. I mean, this doesn't have to happen right away. And obviously, if you want time to create a new character, we'll keep Etema around for this session, and that next session we'll bring in someone new. But that's up to you.
Sure. I think I'll be total munchkin and just train prowess. So there we go. That's her second downtime action. And when she comes back, she'll have no stress and no wounds. The sore leg will be fine.
So I think I see, I don't know everything that happens that night, but I think I'm the guy that's keeping you guys all standing as you go back to your new layer or whatever,
Mhm.
and then you turn around and you're like, hey, you're not supposed to be here. And I'm like, yeah, I am. And then I reveal who I am, and
Nice.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because one of my abilities eventually will be like, I can reveal who I am, and everyone's just like, what? they get they have to freeze for a moment or something like that. So
Nice.
yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, I imagine that, like, I hope you drunken guys get home.
I think once Val explains who he is, I think I'm going to, see if I can't get like an ident stick off of him or something like that. And, check him out later. Like what's the right word? Run a background check on him. Like, okay, is this guy legit? Can we trust this?
I'm all into that.
Yeah.
I'm all into that.
Do you guys mind if I take Kai up on your co-pilot of ship offer?
that.
And okay,
Yeah.
so I will come up with a name and species, but I just trail behind. Maybe Val did the haha, I've been with the whole time, but I was not far behind smoking a death stick, and then after you reveal, I step in. Yeah.
And
But,
I think
Emma's also there for the moment, right? Like she won't be disappearing, right? Or has she disappeared right then, before them?
I think it makes sense to have her meet Val at first, so it's
Yeah,
less of a.
I think we'll have her meet Val, but
Right.
she's already been told she's got to go do this shock boxing thing.
Yeah.
So
Got it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
cool.
And I like the idea that whenever your co-pilot steps out, Bade is immediately like, oh shit, this is an ambush, right? We've
Right.
got two people we don't know that just stepped out of the dark, and that's really bad. So, and then suddenly, they introduce themselves as friends and like, we'll see about that. Okay.
So what does that look like? Is it an immediate? Like, do you get up in my face, or is it going to be that ident stick thing, or?
No. I think what it looks like is as soon as we see the co-pilot step out, and Bade recognizes, hey, you're a stranger, Val's a stranger, like starts patting, like, where's her gun?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, it's just me. I'm the person that Bria told you to contact. Like, okay, I'll take you at your word now, but I'm going to keep an eye on the two of you,
Sure.
and then run a check, because I'm not real trustworthy. I'm not really trusting of that, because that was a weird way to pop out. And if I was setting up a hit, right, I'd have my co-pilot step out of the alley too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Boko is paranoid, so I think he asks some probing questions, like about Bria, like maybe
Sure.
doing some like, oh yeah, so about Bria's tail or whatever. I don't know. Then so he can get some like positives and negatives on you, to just make sure you are who you think you are.
I mean, Adama knows like visually Bria pretty well. So like he does that whole like she's got a birthmark here and a kind of thing. And as addition to like, she escaped from Alderaan, and she really, 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 really hates imps. He says she's got some really dangerous wear inside of her, like cyborg stuff inside of her, that kind of thing. But I think I want to.
Would it be cool if maybe Valsi had a pic of Val that Edom has seen?
Oh, it's the classic where like it's just Bria and Valsi, and then you unfold the rest of the photo, and I'm on the other side of it, kind of thing.
Sure.
Right.
Love it.
But let's see.
I kind of want to see the reaction between Val and Etima whenever they realize they've both been intimate with Bria.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. So you're Valsey's dad, huh?
I am.
Why'd you disappear on them?
Is that what she told you?
That's what I'm asking you.
Bria didn't agree with my thoughts on leaving Imperial soldiers alive. And she took.
Oh, so you're an
Valsey-
sympathizer then?
I don't get carted off to the queue for life kind of guy.
Oh, I punch him.
Ooh.
It doesn't have to be a fight, but that
No, I love it.
gets a
I love it.
punch.
Love it. What level damage do I take?
All right, just enough to bloody your nose. Like
Okay.
that's it. She just like
Is that okay if I take a bloody nose harm?
If you want, I don't think it
Okay,
necessarily rises to the level of
Alright.
harm.
Okay. I can see why you're in boxing. That's a good hit.
so. And I think the Raquel, which is the playbook I'm choosing, it like reached for his blaster at his hip, and but then Val takes it easy, and so he slides his hand away, and Edema says, "You don't make jokes at Bria's expense. What she went through, you don't know. You don't understand. You don't get to swoop in here out of nowhere and do that. You haven't earned that." Bria meant the world to us. Maybe she didn't mean that much to you. She did to us.
So he for a second he turns to the Raquel and he says, what was the annual revenue last year? And gives some number and he's like, yeah, I dropped that to come here. I'm here to make sure her legacy doesn't die in the cube. Yeah, I'm a jokester. I deserve the punch. I have no ill will toward you for that. And I'll respect that. I'll respect that. But I am here. So I think you should understand how much I care.
All right. All right.
I think to kind of cut the tension a little bit, Boko, goes over to the Raquel and like puts his arm around his shoulder. He's still a little drunk, and sort of like both to sort of diffuse a little bit, but also to maybe separate Val and his co-pilot just in case
Right.
it is. Instead of like, hey, come on, wait, I think there's
I
some more.
love that my
There's more
character
drinks
dies in the first
inside.
session. It's almost a traveler experience, right? Like I made my character, he's dead. All right, let's do it again.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no.
But I have to like bond with the Raquel. Like, come on, I think there's some drinks inside. We can, you and me we can
Right.
talk. But also to like, in case it is still an ambush, that they're not together.
Right.
I love that idea that, you're like, oh, Etima has Val, I've got the Raquel, and, if something happens, I'm going to make sure they can't get together. And
Yep.
Bates like, what?
Base pickup. Yeah.
Nice.
Go inside and continue drinking. Introduce him around to the crew.
And sorry for delays in having a name. I will have one momentarily. I was just looking over my array of various pictures, trying to find someone who looked Reiki.
Right.
and but I think he's more than happy to share a few drinks with some people, and that sounds great to him. So he's pretty amiable about this. He's a rake hill, so he's been in rough scraps. Watched his the boss, the captain, get punched before, so that's fine.
I'm betting my nose is permanently disfigured from the amount of times I've been punched in the face. That's why I keep like the cloak kind of thing going. It's like I'm pretty damn distinctive. I have a blaster that no one else uses and a nose that no one can forget. So
That's
I love
true.
it.
It's hidden by the hood, but
Right,
it
exactly.
is memorable. I like that.
Yeah, he respects Edema quite a bit for stepping up. He knows he's a dick sometimes. So
Edema doesn't keep going. Like you backed off. You're not going to say shit about Edema or about Bria, so she'll relax a good bit. That's fine. She'll let it slide. She'll move on.
all right. All right. He has all these jokes he was going to make about this nice place you got here kind of shit. But he's like, all right, these guys are way too tense right now. The alcohol did not help.
I think when we get back to the rest of the crew, Bade definitely like talks smack about Val and the co-pilot. Like, Yanush, like keep an eye on them. They're not, we don't know yet, and then like, Entima just bashed that guy's face in. It was great to see. Not as good as your explosion, Yanush, but still.
Of having to make sure that Yanush doesn't get upset. The most interesting thing that has happened the last 24 hours is my explosion. Everything else is secondary.
And I think Yanush is drinking and like has like a little vid. Like it's on the news and is like replaying it over and over.
Yeah.
There's something wonderful about, creating a character and then handing it over to a whole bunch of people and watch them evolve and change and grow. It's nice. I can understand why there are some role-playing games where you don't have always have control over your character. It's fun. It's fun. What a guy, Yanush. Pirate maniac.
How do you get back to your temporary lair? Are you still using this air speeder you jacked in Sexec, or have you switched to something else, or are you walking the whole way? Or
I think we might walk back. It's like I think it might just be like a long, like just one of those, like you've been out drinking all night. You're like, yeah, it's only like 3-4 miles. We can totally walk. It's no problem.
That, and I think it's also the crappy public transport. So I mean, I think that there's definitely buses or trains or some kind of tube where people who are desperate, like everyone here, have to get on to this thing, but it doesn't run real regularly. So it's like, oh yeah, this section's broke down. We have to walk a mile to the next pickup, and then we can get on that one, and it'll take us halfway, and then we have to walk. Yeah, and it's going to take hours.
Yeah.
Love it.
So we're coming up on the hour. I figure we'll take another break. Is 5 minutes? Cool. So you're walking back to the headquarters, and I think you're going through because I think at this point, like the street sec and the garrison, they've done their thing. So you're walking through the scrapyard. You see your very, very exploded headquarters, like passing by outside with Janusz chittering excitedly. And it's like blown, it's like a crater, a whole big hole down into the service tunnels, and there's debris scattered everywhere. And there's a lot of destruction from when the stormtroopers went through. You get some of the people who recognize you, not a lot, but some people like not quite cheer you, but they like, yeah, we know who you are, and fuck the Stormies. This is yeah, we got your back. Or Kark the Stormies, I should say, but yeah,
I imagine that all of the graffiti that was like anti-Imperials has been destroyed by tanks, right? So
I think they more like I don't think they've gone out of their way to do it,
okay.
but probably like it's been like painted over or something, and then there's already new graffiti everywhere. So, but yeah,
Okay.
they probably knocked down a couple of houses just because it had the wrong pictures on it. But you make it back to your temporary headquarters. Like I said, it's in the back of a warehouse. The guards they look very pointedly look the other way, like they see you coming, and they just go around the corner and have a couple of death sticks, and so you can let yourselves in.
Cool. This is the place. Make yourself at home.
And it smells a lot. Like they're not processing eels here, but they're like transporting. So there's it's has a distinctive aroma.
Tycho will. Well, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger and all that. It's a very particular odor. What is it?
Eel.
Eel.
I specifically asked for the smelliest place they could find, and they came through for us. Cover our tracks and all that.
Okay. Well,
As it turns out, eel is sort of a staple down here because, you know, it's something that can grow in the tunnels and sewage, you know, sewage drainages, and we raise it, and you know, then a lot of the shops serve it, and this is what processes it. So, you know, they're not going to destroy their whole food processing system. So yeah, that's a good place to lay low for a little while. I think there's actually tiers. Like, you know, the crew has different levels of where they stay depending on how close they are to the stench, right? So like, you know, Boko and Etama and I are staying like at the outer edges, but like Yanush is a little bit further in, and I think we set the new guys up like, you know, even below Yanush. What do you guys think about that?
And
bit of hazing
IG
sounds good.
doesn't care. He's a droid. He doesn't have any. He just turns off his olfactory sensors, and he's fine.
Can you place me near a plug-in? Yeah, Tycho doesn't love this place, but his boss says this is where we're gonna go.
wow, you have nothing in insight at all.
None.
Oh my lord.
I only get 4 dots, man. I only get 4 dots. Hard
You get
choices
seven-
had to be made.
You get 7 dots. Well, you get the 3 that you start with plus 4 more, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I only got to
Yeah.
choose 4 dots, and
Yeah, you got to choose right. Yeah.
And you get the extra dot from the crew as well. And
oh, right.
yeah,
Oh, I forgot that. Sorry, I'll add that.
So did I tell you to come? Did I ask you to come? What do you?
I think
How do you-
Tycho is Bria's cousin.
Oh,
And he's here to take care of business too. So
okay. Okay.
yes,
Okay. It's
he's got
it's a
his own
family
opinions
affair.
about the right thing to do, but for right now, Val's the boss.
Wow. Okay.
You okay with that?
Yeah. Friction everywhere.
Oh no, as far as they know, Tucker's 100% on board with whatever you do or say.
Oh God.
He's not going to call you out in front of them.
Got it.
He doesn't trust these people at all.
Well, yeah. Bria has an odd judge of character sometimes. So, I imagine at some point, Adam is gone, and y'all are either hungover or dealing with your hangovers or whatever. Bade has stolen some information. It's one of the things she needs to steal to check me out. And Val just says, okay, well, what was the next job you had lined up?
Funny you should mention that. I think we need to rethink it.
So during the break, I thought about this a little bit, and could part of the job might be maybe finding a new lair? Someone asked earlier, do we change our crew playbook? And I could see a couple of different ways, and that might influence our next, the next pressing thing. And I guess I also want to handle in character, like, how to deal with Bria, but the 2 options that I thought of as far as crew sheets, do we want to talk about this after the game, or do we want to talk about this now?
Okay.
Well, we can't after the game because
Oh yeah.
okay time. So let's talk now.
Yeah. So one thought I had was I kind of like the idea of something like the guys like Andor and Rogue One, who were really bad people doing assassinations and really crappy things. But they thought the ends justified the means.
Mhm.
So that might be that we're the Shadow playbook. Another option would be we could start a gambling den or a brothel or a bar or something as a front for our stuff. Because, who could go wrong with just making money gambling? I think then we would be hawkers, the hawker crew.
Mm.
So if we wanted to, as our next job, say, okay, we're going to set up a bar, and that's going to be our front, and then we'll do illegal things from there, and we'll launder the money through the bar, then that could be our next job. Or the next job could be closing things up with Tor to see if we could be an offshoot of a rebel strike force kind of thing.
I will say that as written, which could change, but as written, Val is a smuggler. He smuggled people out of Alderaan. So if we wanted to do smuggling, that would also be. But like we have a lot of people that want to do gambling, and I can see that.
Yeah, I like the hawkers idea. That sounds, it's a different tone next season, so it's fun.
Yeah. New season starts up a little bit different.
The all new, all different hidden
So would that
daggers.
put us in the pocket of Skirbo?
Maybe. Yeah, that might be fun.
Could
He
that be
could
part of?
your new patron?
Yeah, we do need a new patron.
Could that be
He-
part
he
of what
prob-
Etima's doing? Is she's off, trying to make good with Skirbo?
Yeah, trying to smooth it over.
Yeah, not just with Betty, but also with, hey, we need, can you set us up with another place where we can run gambling on the side for you?
You take half a take or whatever. Yeah.
And that's what Bria's doing in the cube. She's taking care of Skirbo's people.
Nice. I like it.
Nice. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's good.
And like
That's
long
good.
term, like Boko long term has beef with the Hut Syndicate. So aligning with Skirbo might be good for that.
So we're talking hawkers then?
I think we're talking hawkers.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Nice.
What can
Okay,
we move
so-
over and what do yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, let's have a look at so we don't jump into it and realize that we're off. Their favorite jobs are acquire product supply, execute clandestine or covert sales, or secure new territory. And new territory here is for like sales, like trade sort of thing, or customers, I guess, would be part of that. They start with at least partly secure layer because they need some security for their wares, I assume. Special abilities is +2 some actions. You get to count faction state +3 faction statuses as turf. So you want to be friendly with people. You can have really good merchandise. You can have some specific type of customer, like you've tuned the examples. I just read it. Through contacts or hard-won experience, you have discovered how to tailor your product for sale to droids, exotic aliens, and force users. How do they pay you? So you have like a niche market, I guess, of customers who don't typically get served. You can have high society, which means you get less heat during downtime, or you reduce your heat during downtime. You get plus on gather info about the city's elite. That's if you're like aiming at the nobility as your customers. Booked, your gang members use your product. They get a flaw, but they also get +1 quality. So they're better at what they do, but also a bit less reliable. And patron, which you already have. So it's I think most of those could work for some sort of gambling establishment.
And Lydra is in their contacts.
Hey.
Yeah. You can make good with her, yeah.
So let me
Done.
check in here. Being a gambling establishment, I think is good. So I see Val as kind of a face. He's kind of a leader kind of person. And
Mhm.
Boko's a little bit of a sneak, and Bade is a little bit of a thief. And I think that Taika will fit in for a month or two into this kind of thing. But what about Etima? Etima's the bouncer,
Yeah, she's muzzle.
Yeah, Adam's muscle. Totally.
and you're good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, because the Bravos, whenever I look at it, there's a lot of things here about fighting, right? Your war dogs, that kind of stuff. I just wanted to compare. And predators, yeah.
Yeah, some of the abilities have carried over from the assassins where they
Mhm.
started.
Okay.
Predators and cleaners are there. But yeah, I mean, so let's think about what kind of jobs you'd be doing, because I mean, the gambling thing could just be a front, but
Yeah.
then you wouldn't necessarily need to be hawkers. That maybe
So-
isn't your crew type.
So I was also thinking, I don't know what ended up happening after Bria got taken to the cube. But if Zori was left alone by the assassin after that point, then they may view Bria as having been like a loyal person,
Yeah.
and would be willing to like have us be an alternate sales force for their spice. I don't know. I was thinking about that. But yeah, if it's just gambling, that's not really something that you can get hooked on or anything like that per se. There's no product in that. So
yeah, I think a gambling den could be part of it, but I don't think that's like your core activity,
Right.
because that's just sitting back and waiting for people to give you money. So that's not really you're not doing a lot of jobs on that. So if you're going for hawkers, that means you're selling something, and that means like transporting illicit goods, procuring things for people. And that could definitely be a thing you could be doing. It could be selling spice. Zori is in with Black Sun, so that would mean if you're going that way, then you're kind of getting into bed with them. But I mean, it could be some other something else that you're selling that's maybe not entirely legal, maybe kind of legal, but
Are we talking about?
If we are trying to lay low a little bit, maybe smugglers would make more sense, because hawkers is more like trying to market yourselves and market your product and do all that stuff, whereas smugglers is a little bit under the radar more. We can still use the gambling front or gambling places as a front, and that would fit in with Val's stuff as well. I don't know if that's
one version of hawkers that could work is if we connect it to like the artifact trade connected to the rend, because there's people going out there digging through the whole mess and finding valuables, and some of that stuff may not be entirely legal. That could be smugglers or hawkers, but I mean you could be like antique salesman, maybe.
So here's a
but
question.
I think smugglers probably lends itself to jobs that are more closer to your skill set than hawkers.
So could we be gun runners?
Yeah.
Ooh,
absolutely.
Where, I mean, we need to stay low. The kind of jobs we would need to take would be to run guns, and we could pick a faction that would be our patron, and then we're running guns, and that still gives us a chance to fight imps, which is a big motivation for most people. And
I like that.
And I mean, if we want to, it's perfectly possible to create some new faction. I mean, since we have new people coming in, it could be a different rebel faction, for example. Someone else other than Tor and Maxa, who is trying to build up something, and they want resources brought in. It could be that your part of 1313 is some sort of transport, not hub, but a place where things need to move through for the rebellion. That could also be an option. You could be smuggling people. There could be spies and infiltrators, that sort of thing.
I would also, I don't know if the rules work very well with it, but actually, I take that back. I was going to say that we could be like helping people get from one place to another, but I think with the war going on right now, I'm gonna nix that. That would be too close to home, so I'll rescind that.
Okay.
So taking a look at the smugglers, there your favored jobs are smuggling operations, acquiring new clients, or contraband sources. You have special abilities. You can one of your vehicles can count as a cohort. which is cute. During downtime, yeah, cohort can perform a downtime activity.
That's nice.
You can get a bonus on transport plans. Reduce fee.
Ooh, gain
Gain
extra
extra
rep.
rep.
That's nice.
Better with vehicles. Yeah, it's not. You can focus on a vehicle thing. I mean, if this could be now we're just spitballing an idea here. This could be since we have Val coming in. Val has a ship.
Oh yeah.
This could be one option could be that we transition from playing in this specific part of level 1313 into like broadening the horizons a bit. We establish factions. Maybe if you're transporting things between levels, something like that, we could have like that sort of thing. But that means we leave behind some of the stuff that's tied to what we've been doing so far, and so that's a bigger change, I would say.
So a lot of the ship stuff, I think, is tied into Val. Is that a direction you were thinking Val would go, Kai? Is more of a captain?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I think I have some moves lined up from the Stranded playbook that I want to take as well. So I definitely, I'm obviously basing him off of Han Solo a little bit. So
there's also a crew upgrade for barge, which gives plus mobility for lair, which means maybe our new lair could be the ship.
Oh god,
but not crashed ship, a ship that flies instead of a ship that's embedded in the ground.
All right, so take your shoes off before you get in the ship.
Wash that eel smell off.
The showers are over there. No, you now. No, I don't know how he feels about his ship, but that sounds cool. Now I get to look on the internet for a ship.
So, Rich, what are your thoughts?
Well, one of the original concepts that you had on trying to run Stars in the Dark as Blaze in the Dark was the gangs and the street level. And if we transition to this, I think we'll lose out on a lot of that.
Yeah.
So that's a consideration.
Yeah.
It would definitely move our interactions from street level gangs to more organizations that have the ability to move stuff.
Yeah. One way I think, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, part of this is also just climbing in tier, because you will. I mean, you'll fairly soon be tier 3, which means you've kind of not quite left the street level stuff, but you're moving away from it. I mean, tier 4 is definitely no longer like a street gang.
So what about this? So we just recently in the past few sessions saw our first view of the next tier, the next level up, right? And it was super dangerous. We ended up crashing on our way back down. Val's ship gives us a way to just maybe find new markets in that next tier up. So we're still dealing with the gangs here, but maybe there's a whole new set of gangs up there, and we're transitioning between these two layers of course where things are going on, right?
Yeah, just kind of positioning ourselves as like middlemen between those.
And Anima would have a lot. Yeah, and Anima would have a lot of opportunity to talk to her people.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
So we're not going to space.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
We're using a ship to kind of traverse levels. That
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
interesting.
Ooh, and even like
I was-
since Edema
yeah.
is going on tour, maybe that's even like a wedge. Like when she comes back, she's like, "Hey, I talked to these guys on 1314, and check out this." You know.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, to be clear, I was not thinking of, yeah, now we're going to trip between planets or that sort of thing, but more like maybe we have some factions on other levels that are also relevant.
Yeah.
Or
and
some of the similar factions that have reached in other levels, and maybe they're
Yeah.
even different tiers in a way. Like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, these
absolutely.
guys are small fries here
Oh,
because they're
yeah.
just trying to expand, but they've been super established in 1314.
Yeah. For like Black Sun is like level 1 on 1315 or something. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
wild.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
really cool,
Because
yeah.
I mean, a different level here, that's like a different country. It's
Right.
Yeah. That's really
it's a
interesting.
different place.
So in that case, let's go back to the original question, which is what kind of jobs would we be doing? If we're looking for smuggling jobs, it seems like Val is our way in
For sure.
to, you know, well, yeah, we need a lair, we need a place to hole up, and we need a way to keep getting money. So our job would be, what kind of big score can you bring us, Val? Especially when you just offhandedly said, "See what I left behind? Here's the ledger for all of this stuff."
Yeah.
It's like,
Like,
no,
let's see some then.
yeah,
Yeah, we want a piece of that action, smartass.
Yeah. And also it helps like establish the sort of the fiction of us just
Broadening
immediately
scope.
teaming up with them, kind of like, oh, like they just showed up and now they're part of the family. Like that doesn't really, that's not as smooth as like, oh, you're connected to another person that we know and you're gonna help us fold us into some of the smuggling stuff you've got going on, I guess. I feel
But definitely Val is going to like have a scene with Bria's fiance. He's going to have a scene with Zori. He's going to have a scene with everybody that like she had an impact on. I mean, probably more scenes with Edma going forward. But like, we're not leaving. Like Tycho and I are here to take care of Valsi first and foremost. And you know, it just makes sense to kind of like, he feels like he has a responsibility to help carry along this group a little bit because that's what Bria was doing. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Like that.
So yeah, he'll take this group that he has very little idea what they're good at, be like, smuggling 101 or something like that. I don't know. He's a smart ass, I guess. I don't. Ugh.
Yeah,
I like it.
We're not at time yet, but I feel like maybe we're getting close enough that we shouldn't make a decision right now. We don't need to make a decision. We can mull it over until the
Oh,
next
really? I
session.
felt like we were at the doorstep of a decision, right?
Were we? Are we ready to? I mean,
Feels
it
pretty
doesn't
good,
matter
yeah.
if we decide now or somewhere in until the next session.
Well, I just thought it might be smart to at least have a job chosen so you knew what we were.
Yeah,
gonna
that's true.
jump
That's
into.
true.
Yeah.
Well, we need a place to park the ship.
Yeah, it's probably parked at the docks right now. The authorities don't like people just taking their ships flying around in the outside the shaft.
So here's a couple of options. It could be, could we find a place where we could secret the ship so that, it wouldn't be found, and then we could use that, as a landing place as we smuggle things back and forth. Another option would be, is there a way that we could, a job could be finding a fake transponder so that they don't realize that we're going back and forth.
Yeah.
So those are a couple of jobs we could put down.
Yeah, maybe we could find a place like in the fringe near the Rend where folks aren't going to be poking around that much, and it gives us a little bit of mobility if we need it.
Yeah, and I mean the Rend goes up to
Yeah.
level 1314 and down to 1312. So that's definitely a place where you could travel if you want to. It's a good place for
Interesting.
smugglers.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
And I can see
That's
at least
really
one
cool.
scene where we're on the ship and we're going to go all the way up to the shaft to pick something up and bring it back down. And then Adama finally gets to see the sun.
Mm.
Yep, I've totally been thinking. The moment we said, "Hey, here's the stuff," that would be amazing.
No pun intended, but I'm on board. So
Hey-oh.
So I think the decision we need to make is if the ship is the lair or if the lair is separate from the ship.
Edma's vote would be the ship's the lair. She's really enjoyed staying on a ship and pretending.
Especially if it's mobile. I
Yeah.
think that as a, bait is like maybe having a lair that can be found and trampled by tanks is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Maybe if we could just move it, that would be great.
Yeah, I like that.
cool.
Cool.
Then we would need a
Um,
series of places to hide the ship. We need a connection. We need a person that has like places to dock ships and stuff like that.
Yeah, that would be your patron probably, who
Makes-
has some of this set up. If I look at the current factions, I mean, both the Hutt Cartel and Black Sun, obviously, they do smuggling. They transport spice, do that sort of thing. Scarbo, probably not. Probably, I mean, some sort of rebel faction could definitely have something set up. This could be Tor, or it could be a rebel faction on a different level in this general area.
Yeah.
And it's
Oh.
probably more interesting if it's someone else than Tor.
I'd agree.
maybe.
I agree. Although the like our boss hates us trope is kind of interesting as well. But somebody
Also-
doing it would be fun. Sorry, go ahead.
Just one thing, like if we wanted to play with the faction rules even more, maybe we have a dock from each faction that we're dealing with, and if we piss off the wrong faction, then we
Oh,
lose that
okay.
place to park.
Yes. Yeah.
So now we're having to make everybody happy all the time. No stress there whatsoever.
Yeah, that could definitely be part of it. But I think your patron is more specific. And the patron, I don't think necessarily has to be a faction. It could be. I mean, we've been working from the factions because that's what made sense. But it
It
could
could be
be.
whoever Val's boss is, like if he has one.
Yeah. I'm looking at the others, the non-criminals as well. I mean, the Semeredge Corporation, they would definitely not say no to having some smugglers working for them.
What about what if we don't really know who the boss is? It's sort of like we're a cell and we don't know who the real boss is, but the real boss, maybe it's the Chiss Ascendancy and they're trying to get a toehold.
Yeah, could be.
What do you think of that? Rich?
Crazy Chiss, but sure.
Who else?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Who else would be wanting to get a toehold on Corsican trying to?
I mean, the Pike Syndicate could, if we want to bring in something new.
Pike Syndicate's bad news. There's some bad mamma jammas. Scary.
I was looking through some of the factions that we have that are specifically like low factions that, like someone was saying earlier, that they're just getting their toehold here, but they're a big deal outside of
Right,
13.
right.
Mhm.
I mean, there could be a whole, like the Alderani diaspora. That would be an immediate hook for you. They could be way more established, like maybe like a couple of levels away from here. There's the Imperials aren't in power anymore. You have big influence from the Alderanian exiles. They want to help their kin on the other levels. That could be some way a way to play it. That kind of ties you into the rebellion without working directly for the rebels.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
I mean, Val's concept is deeply tied with Alderaan. I mean, he was one of the people that was trying to get people off that planet.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. That'd be for that.
Cool. I'll note that as I'll make a note of that, but I think we need to go into end of session if we are to finish on time, because it usually takes longer than we expect. I think we can continue to talk about this offline. If I've understood correctly, it's 2 weeks until our next session, because next week is decom.
Right. Yep.
Mhm.
2 weeks.
Cool. So we have time to make sure that everyone's okay with where we end up. We can mull things over a little bit, talk it over on the Slack, yeah. Cool. So let's do XP. We'll do the crew first. You did not do an operation, but probably did some other stuff. Contend with challenges above your current station. Don't think you really did. Pretty chill on that front. Did you bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one? Your current reputations are professional, brutal, and loyal.
Blew up a bunch of stormtroopers.
Yeah, we even
Yeah.
got recognition from the locals.
Yeah. And you blew up some stormtroopers. That's pretty brutal.
Ooh,
So
okay.
yeah. Sorry.
I was going to say, I'll say that for wishes.
Okay, cool. I think you hit that one once at least. I'll give you one. Did you express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew?
I don't know about essential. I mean, we're creating pretty much an entirely new crew concept here. Weird.
Yeah, and I think you established some like boundaries, I guess, or initial relationships. I think that that should definitely count. I think one for that, unless someone wants to argue for two. No, cool. You're one away from another advance. It's moving at a brisk clip. Let's do XP for characters. So Etema, did you address a challenge with violence or coercion?
I punched Val. What he talk trash about Bria.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I think that should count.
All right.
I
Express
think
your
it'd be fun.
beliefs.
I think it'd be
drives,
funnier if it said, instead of addressing a challenge, you addressed a crew member with violence. It's like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background.
I mean, it didn't have a whole lot of edema moments, so I'm not sure if I fulfilled that. Does anybody remember moments that I don't know? It doesn't feel like
I mean, you stood up for the beast. I think.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. All right, I'll take it. I'll take it. Boom, advanced prowess.
Did you struggle with issues from your vice or trauma?
I don't think so. Well, wait. I overindulged,
Yeah, you did. You did.
so that's an issue. Since
Yeah.
I'll lose my character for a bit, which I'm okay with, but it is an issue for this character. So there you go.
Yep, that's one more. So 3 total, I think.
Yeah.
Cool. Poco, did you address a challenge with cracking or violence?
I don't think I did.
No, I don't remember any situations either. Express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background.
I'm gonna say no. Can't think of anything.
Is one of your traumas
Yeah.
paranoid?
It is, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you definitely
that might be the only one
you
there.
were paranoid. You hit that one.
Well, you
Yeah.
told us what kind of a gambler you are, right?
That's true.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you learned you're kind of a vindictive, or not vindictive, like a
Just
You are
invested.
not a fun person to gamble with, Boko.
No, not at all. That's why it's a vice.
That's also why no gambling dens like you.
Yep.
Not for
Yeah,
long.
you've been kicked out of a couple of them by now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think 2 then.
Except I think I'm gonna use my last downtime action just to train insight and get out of the way.
There you go. We'll forget it in 2 weeks.
I'll check
Yeah.
that off.
That'll put me at
Um,
hunt 5.
Babe,
Wow.
did you address a challenge
Or 4.
with theft or innocence?
I stole the info off of Val.
Yeah,
There you go.
That's probably about it. Yeah.
cool. The one for that. Beliefs, drives, heritage, or background.
Beliefs, drives. I'm not sure. I don't think so.
well, you were
Um,
you weren't like welcoming when I came in.
True. Looking for who was going to stab me in the back.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you struggle with issues from your vice or trauma?
Gambling was my vice. I didn't have any issues from that. My trauma is unstable. And
Well, unstable. I mean, you lost your home.
true. I think unstable would be more like, yeah, I'm not sure I see that with
Okay.
the gambling that we did or the trip back. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So that's 2, I think.
Okay.
Val, did you address a challenge with indignation or by putting others' needs ahead of your own?
I wouldn't say challenges. But I think that I definitely put people ahead of myself. Like I dropped a successful business to come and to pick up some pieces. So,
Yeah.
but
I think that.
there wasn't a challenge for it, but like that came up.
It might be a challenge to interface with all these new fuck ups, right?
Mhm.
It's going to be a challenge. That's
Yeah.
definitely for sure. It's going to be a challenge. I just don't think it was a challenge just yet. Well, I don't know. Maybe I didn't address the challenge. I don't really feel like I did.
I think it's going to play into the next one. Express
Yeah.
your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background.
I think all I did was background. Right.
Yeah, I think you hit that one twice. I mean, you
Yeah.
have your connection to Bria, and you have your general background as well. I think both
Yeah.
of those were relevant.
Yeah.
I don't think you struggled with issues from device trauma.
Nope.
So 2. Tycho, because Rich gets XP twice this session.
Well, we'll see if I get XP twice.
Yeah. You have two options at least, or opportunities. Did you address a challenge with charm or recklessness?
No, I don't think so.
I would challenge that and say it's a little bit reckless to come up against a bunch of drunk thugs, in a darkened street.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. That was
Yeah.
probably a little reckless just to even be here.
Yeah,
Okay,
that seems
I'll
fair.
take it.
Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
No, I came up with it, but I definitely didn't express it. Other than this place is really smelly and he seemed a little above things. I don't know if that's enough to count, but that's about all the heritage or background I got out.
Oh, you're noble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a little thin. I mean, he didn't get a lot of screen time. So
Yeah, no complaints.
That's
No
right.
complaints. Absolutely.
And I don't think you struggled with any issues from your visor trauma either.
Nope. Friends, he's got 2 attune. I just want to point that out.
Ooh.
Attune. Yup. I'm going to be making attune rolls.
Is that a light saving your pocket, or are you just happy to see us?
Well, I don't think he has a lightsaber, but I do think he believes in the Force.
You think you still need to add the extra?
Yes, I went to look up which extra I get, and I didn't do it.
Okay.
Thank you for the reminder. It's
Skirmish or wreck?
Hunt Skirmish. Thank you.
Cool.
Where are we on downtime actions? Has everyone else done theirs? I think I have one left.
Yeah, Bade has 1 left, and Val has 2, and Tycho has 2.
Okay.
Oh, baby.
I was going to say I can knock mine out with just training real quick,
Yeah.
and then
Cool.
Yeah.
Then I think we'll leave Val and Tycho for next time. So we have time to do stars and wishes before Mark has to leave. So yeah, I think we'll do those off camera since we usually do it that way.
Okay.
So bye, internet.
Goodbye, internet.